Standing ovation in New York.
I know, that's unusual.
No, we reserve it for legends. You're a legend. It's so great to finally meet you. I've been following you for a long time, huge fan of yours.
Okay. You make me feel old, but keep going.
Yeah, I mean, because you started in live performing.
Yeah.
And I also started in live performing.
I know.
And we both went to Edinburgh. Mm-hmm. You went to Edinburgh in 1990. You did a show with Mr. Frank Skinner, and then you went back in 1992. You did a show with Mr. John Thompson, and at the same time, you're doing a show with Richard Herring, and was it Armando Iannucci?
Armando Iannucci, Patrick Marber.
Stuart Lee was on that.
Stuart Lee, yeah.
And then you won the Perrier, which is the best show at Edinburgh for the show with John Thompson. Mm-hmm. And I went to Edinburgh, I won nothing, and I hated it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I hated it too the first time. I went with Frank Skinner, this British comedian, and the reviews were great for him, and for me they were terrible. And the newspaper they're in, he hid under the sofa so I wouldn't find it. But I did.
But then you came back with a vengeance.
Oh, in the end, I won.
Yeah. Yeah, but I guess, Edinburgh. I say all of that to be like, first of all, I've been to Edinburgh. It's the biggest live performing festival. But I guess you being a household name, comedy legend, very established in the UK, but you still stick with live performing. You never let that go. And I guess I'm wondering for myself, I like to think I'd be able to do it too, but.
I think it's good. I mean, I have a recurrent dream where I'm about to go on stage with no material and I wake up in a cold sweat. But you know, I think.
But why? Why do you stick? What makes you stick with the live?
I think it's important to, when you write comedy and you do comedy on TV, there's so many layers between you and the audience. You don't see them laughing. You do. I mean, you do because they're over there and you're there.
These guys are here.
Okay.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times
they're forced to. These guys are forced to.
Yeah, that I know. Yes. That's what those guys with the whips are at the back. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think it's important to get rid of all the filters because you don't want to be in an ivory tower. You've got to be connected with your audience and make sure they're still laughing and see the whites of their eyes and all that stuff.
Right. As a live performer, you use it to stay connected to the crowd. Is there any element of it where you feel like, just as career diversification and just from a pure money point of view, in terms of that stuff people can take away from you, TV, film, but live performing? It's
true. If people want to come and see you, they'll come and see you, and you're in total control, And also, it's quite gladiatorial, If it's successable, you get all the credit, but if it fails, it's all your fault.
Yes. Yeah. And you do you got. I don't know if I should tell people this. You have all the money in the world. You don't need to do anything anymore.
I'm not quite as rich as Elon Musk, but
Right, you're close. Just second.
There,
Yeah, and you still got, and you did, not only do you do the Alan Partridge live show, you did Dr. Strangelove recently.
I did the Stanley Kubrick movie. We did it on stage, where I played. Peter Sellers did this famous. Anyone over 50 in the audience might know this movie. Right? Okay. Wow. Okay. So,
wow, I'm surprised too. Where did you guys come from?
He did this movie about nuclear war, a black comedy about nuclear war, and Peter Sellers played 3 roles in it, and I did the live stage version. And I did 4 roles because I wanted to do better than Peter Sellers. I just wanted to beat a dead man. That's all. To do that.
No, but which is great because 4 roles, and you were losing. I saw you doing press for it, and you were losing your voice from it. You're doing
it's like when you're doing 4 roles on stage, you're on and off so fast. When you go off stage, they pull all the clothes off you, not in a good way.
Yeah.
And then put it all back on you. And it's like a Formula One pit stop because you're just going bang, 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 and you're back on stage. And I did 140 shows, and I'm done.
Yeah, but again, all the money in the world. Why did you do that?
I think I don't know. Maybe I'm a Catholic, and because I'm Catholic, I like to sort of punish myself and do penance. You know what they call penance? It's Lent, so
that was your penance. Doing Dr. Strangelove was your Lent.
I think somehow if hard work is good, and if life gets too easy and you get too lazy, it's good to kind of to scare yourself.
Right, and I guess that goes back to what I was saying about you being this legendary comedic figure in the UK, Alan Partridge. And you've done it for so long now. I mean, do you do stuff to just kick yourself in the ass because you've managed to reinvent this character you've been doing for, I guess, 30 years now.
Well,
Alan
yeah,
Partridge?
in the UK, he's an institution. People over here, he's not that well known over here. The only people who know him over here are the cool people like Bill Hader.
I know him.
I know you. You're one of the new Gen. Are you Gen Z or millennial?
I don't even know. I'm like Y,
okay.
and then they call me millennial, and I resent that. But I don't know. I guess I'm one.
Okay, well, I'm definitely an unreconstructed. I'm a last of the baby boomers, start of Generation X.
In between there. Yeah. Sorry, just to set it up.
All I know is I'm a white middle-aged guy, so I know I'm an endangered species. That's
Not as endangered as you think right now. They're doing pretty well right now. They're having a resurgence.
That's true, I'd say.
They were endangered for a while, and we accidentally brought them back.
I know. I'm sorry about
that. But the point is that Alan Partridge is I like to call you mom famous in the UK. Everybody know, moms know you.
Yeah.
Do you know how famous you have to be mom famous?
It is
it's
true.
It's very difficult. Yeah. And so you're that level in the UK, and so like, is that like why you?
I'm kind of part of the furniture in the UK.
You're an institution.
But over here, I'm still kind of, I'm still a bit, because no one knows who I am. I'm a little underground, so I'm still quite cool and edgy.
Right.
So I come here to feel cool, and I go back there to earn a living.
But yeah. But I mean, that also is relevant for me too, because I really had to ask myself this. Not only coming to America, but staying here in American show business. Why do you come to America? Why are you in America?
I don't. It's not like I want to come to America to live the American dream. I come here because I get to work with interesting people, and fortunately, because the people I admire, I've had a chance to work with them in the past. People like Owen Wilson and Ben Stiller, and you know, so I go and work with people I respect, people who want to do, you know, I want to entertain people, and but I want to, you know, have some substance to it too. You know, I like to make people laugh. I like to punch up, not punch down, like your president.
Right.
Right. So.
Yes, that's right. Our president. We are applauding the president right now.
Okay, God bless America.
And you do come to America to kind of get your ass kicked a bit and challenge yourself and.
I go where the interesting people are. You know, I'm lucky enough in my career that I can work with people I like and respect. That's why I'm here with you.
Oh yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. That's very nice.
So that's what I do, and I'm over here right now promoting this new movie, Penguin Lessons.
Yes.
And I know that there's a good audience here. I'm not, in some ways, in the UK, because I have this famous character, I'm kind of pigeonholed. Over here, I do some odd movies that kind of have. I did a movie called Hamlet 2 that has some kind of cult following over here.
No, you did everything. You're in everything. You did Around the World in 80 Days with Jackie Chan. You did. Oh my God, you're putting me on the spot. Right? You were in Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder, Other Guys, and
Other Guys. Yeah. Your IMDb. Philomena.
Philomena was a movie
Oscar nominated. Philomena.
I got an Oscar nomination. So that's nice. I was nice to win, but you know, didn't happen.
But so you did a bunch. I mean, you talk about this a lot in America about how you were kind of doing Alan Partridge, household name, and then you came to America and you were doing kind of not bit roles in American movies, but kind of smaller profile roles.
If someone will pay me my airfare and put me in a nice hotel and pay me, I mean, I did like 2 days on The Joker, and that was great.
Yeah. So I guess by asking for myself here is like, it seems like you. Because I'm trying to build that. That's kind of where I'm going myself. I'm like, you know, I'm doing 20 on the call sheet. Grateful to do the role, have fun. But you talk about doing these roles in America, finding them a little bit unsatisfying, and that's what inspired you to write. Philomena.
I was doing a film called The Other Guys with Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell. Very funny guys.
Yeah. With Adam McKay directing.
Adam McKay, who is a great director. Yeah. And I enjoyed it a lot, but it was kind of like I like to be in the driving seat, and when I was doing that, that's why I discovered the story of this Irish woman whose child had been taken from her and sold to an American couple. Back in the 1950s, and that was it. So I pursued that as a writer, which was drama. And before that, I'd just done comedy. Right. And I didn't know if it would work out, but we wound up at the Oscars. So I thought, okay, well, I'll do some more of this stuff. People seem to like it.
Right. But is that the strategy? I mean, would you say you need to do these kind of small roles in America to build enough political capital to do?
I know I have a career in the UK, and I like to do a bit of comedy, a bit of drama. You know, like sometimes you don't want to get too serious because you can vanish up your own ass.
Yeah.
So it's important to have a laugh and just remember it's just don't get too full of yourself. So I like to do a bit of yin yang. You know, so make people laugh, make them cry. Make them cry too much, they're not going to want to see you anymore. So you got to make them laugh again.
No, but you definitely play that yin yang almost better than anyone I've ever seen because you got the comedy bona fides, like legend comedy characters, and then you do dramatic roles, not just Filomena, but you do like Jimmy Savile, which is probably the most.
Yeah, I played a sex offender. I know it's a terrible thing, but you know it was a terrible story actually in the UK. Yeah. But the worst thing about it was when I said I'm playing Jimmy Savile, the sex offender. People actually said you'd be perfect for that. wait a second.
Yeah, so you managed to do yin yang. Hats off to you. And every project you do, you were talking about it with the other legend, Irish legend Tommy Tiernan on his show. You said you're looking for projects that are funny but have heart in it.
Yeah.
And I feel like you've definitely been going that way. I mean, you did this movie in 2019 called Greed, which was about a fashion mogul, and kind of there were political overtones in that about kind of the wage gap and.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, you want to make people laugh and you want to make people think at the same time, and there's ways to do that. Also, I think a lot of comedy is about. Some comedy can be about cruelty. I think it's always important you can be smart and tough, and you can be kind at the same time. You don't have to be a dick.
Right. I got to write that down.
Yeah, do. I'll email it to you later.
I didn't know you could do it without being a dick. I've been approaching this all wrong. Yeah, but just going back to the politics. So what my point is that you kind of try to do things that have not just be funny, but have a message.
Yeah, I think, look, it's like anything. When you have an argument with someone, you can bang heads, and if you have a different point of view, you can not end up resolving anything.
Yes.
And also, if you have loads of facts and statistics, they get twisted, and people can present their alternative facts and all that stuff. But if you tell a story or you make someone laugh, then you kind of people relax a little, and you can talk about serious stuff, as you do on this show, in a funny way. Then people relax about it, and it takes the edge off it, and it stops people being scared. We're living in scary times, and if you can laugh, have that gallows humor, then we can all get through it together, I think.
Right.
Yeah, something like that.
Right. And I have to expertly pivot to what you're promoting, or your publicist is going to kill me here. But really, I mean, I did have a plan, and this is where I wanted to get with all this, is that you talk about political activism. So your latest movie is Penguin Lessons. Like, what is it about? And do you mind just saying what you think the political message is?
It's a film, ostensibly, you look at it, it's a cute film about a penguin. I'm not really interested in doing a cute film about a penguin. I just think...
Did you tell the penguin that?
I didn't. I told his agent.
There is a live penguin in this thing.
There's a few penguins in it, but to me, my buddy was writing it, Jeff Pope, who I've written a bunch of films before with, and he said, hey, I make this film about a penguin, do you want to be in it? And I said, no. I said, well, hang on, if I make the guy someone who doesn't like penguins and doesn't like animals and doesn't like children and doesn't really like people, then that gives him somewhere to go, and the penguin acts as a catalyst. But it's set against the fascist regime, the military dictatorship that existed in Argentina in the late 1970s. So there's a kind of dark, brooding backdrop to it. And
any parallels to modern times?
Well, I figured out that everyone loves the penguins because they're cuddly. And fascism's very popular at the moment, so it's something for everybody.
Right, fascism, but Disneyfied.
Yeah. It's like fascism meets Disney.
Yeah, which is Disney.
Yeah, which is Disney.
Yeah. Okay. Wait, hang on. I had to quickly do a calculation to see if our parent company was Disney, but it's not. It's Paramount. We're fine. Okay. But I think I did a show with. Anyway. Okay. No one. They don't watch YouTube. But I did. This is kind of just for me now, because did you when you again
By the way, I just want to say about the penguins, because I'm a little worried.
Please.
No penguins were harmed in the making of this film. Right. We have a robot penguin in the film, as well as real ones. So if we asked the penguins, we didn't ask the penguins to do anything difficult.
Right.
It was
Because
difficult.
there's one scene where you throw the penguin back into the ocean.
Yeah, that's like that's cut. No, there's a fake one that I throw, and then we cut it together.
Right. You guys say that for legal reasons.
No, and also, I've never thrown a penguin in my life. Okay? But I get cancelled for throwing penguins.
It's in the movie.
It's in the movie, yeah. It's trickery.
Okay.
Magic.
Okay.
The magic of movies.
Okay, yeah. So not a real penguin. Okay.
Yeah, but we had a robot penguin and we had a puppet penguin. Someone had their hand up a fake penguin, so to speak, so we sort of mixed the two together. And I just
And when you're doing these scenes, I was watching it, and it's like it's comedic. It's not. I won't say you're obviously not doing a sketch when you're in this movie.
Yeah,
so is it difficult to kind of like to dial it to where it's,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Where you're not doing a sketch.
No, it's funny. It's not silly. It's not dumb funny. I play a guy who doesn't really like penguins and winds up adopting one by mistake and ends up teaching these kids at school with it.
Yes, it's very touching. And it's not goofy. It's not played goofy.
Yeah, and like I say, there's a little bit of fascism in there because we need more of that.
Yeah. A little bit sprinkled in there.
Yeah, a little sprinkling of fascism.
And I just feel like you're like this beloved character in the UK, both Steve Coogan and Alan Partridge. I think you appeal. Your character, Alan Partridge, appeals to people on the left and the right in the UK. I would say
that's true.
Right.
That's true.
And Steve Coogan yourself, you're very politically active. You're out there. You're campaigning publicly.
I pick and choose my fights. If you bang on about what you think about stuff, after a while people go, well, who cares what you think? And it's like, oh, not him
that's
again.
where I'm at right now. No one cares about what I think. But I guess that's what I asked you. I was like, why? You kind of answered the question. Like, how come I feel like you never chose to use Alan Partridge as a overt political character?
The thing is, he's
more satirical.
You've got to, if you just try and entertain the people who already agree with you, you're never going to change anyone's opinion. You're never going to challenge them. So you have to reach out. You have to put your arms around everybody and say, look, I don't agree with you, but come over here, let's have a laugh, and maybe we can learn something. And so I do that with that Alan Partridge character. Right. Sometimes I try to make people laugh, and if occasionally you can slip a secret message under the door while you're doing it, then that's great. And I do that with Partridge. But if you're just preaching to the converted, what's the point?
Yeah, other than making money.
Yeah, I mean, and I like to do that occasionally.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, but I could talk to you forever, but I just want to say thank you so much, Mr. Steve Coogan. You're a legend. Thank you for calling me cool. I really appreciate it. You increased my street cred in UK. Thanks for entertaining everybody. Thanks for coming on this show. I really appreciate it. You're the best, man. Thank you. This is Steve Coogan, everybody. The Penguin Lessons will be in theaters nationwide March 28th. It's Mr. Steve Coogan.